Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of Middle-Aged Barbarians. I'm Eugene.
And I'm Eddie.
We're both together again, finally.
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. The floods around my home.
That's quite all right. And we have a special little something for y'all. We are going to do a 3-part series on the up-and-coming Quest from the Infinite Staircase book, module.
It's compilation anthology, I think would be the better way to describe it.
Okay.
Remakes.
So
remixes.
We're going to... The what now?
Remixes in a way.
Remixes, reboots. Everybody loves a good reboot.
Yeah, probably.
Well, except Ghostbusters.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. My daughter actually liked it.
But which one?
I don't know, the guy, how was the name of that guy? The guy that directed Bridesmaids? The female-led one.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Yeah. You'll get into controversies with my daughter as you...
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, this is today's episode. All right, so I think we can go at this at like a level based. We'll go from like the lower level adventures, and then we'll work our way up.
Yeah, sure. And we'll talk a little bit about our mixed, what we saw, rechecking this, because they're actually a little bit before our time, back when we were young barbarians.
We were just barely out of the sack.
There we go. Yeah, we actually started with, Eugene introduced me to the game with Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, which is...
Yeah, dude, that was 16 years after this came out.
Yes, and this is about our age, so pretty old. So yeah, we look back at these modules and we'll give us our thoughts on them.
So if it's cool, I'll start with the Lost City.
Sure.
You know me, I'm the neurotic one, so I always take a lot of notes and stuff. And I investigated a little bit on the original modules. Like Eddie said, we never actually played the original ones. And, we're looking to see what exactly is going to be coming out and see if it's interesting for us or not. The original Lost City, Eddie, was written by Tom Moldvay. Do you know who Tom Moldvay is?
I have no idea, but I've seen that name in a lot of credits. So I don't know about him, but I've seen that he wrote a lot of early D&D stuff.
Yeah, actually, all the authors and stuff from the 6 modules are like really big contributors and stuff to TSR back in the 80s. Moldvay was a writer in the 70s for a sci-fi fanzine called Infinite Dreams. He joined TSR for the 2nd edition of D&D Basic Set, and, like I said, he did a bunch of stuff, including Isle of Dread and, of course, The Lost City. Now, The Lost City was originally published in 1982.
Oh, when I was born. Awesome.
When we were both born back in 1982. And, like, all these other... I'm sorry, guys. The producer sometimes just sticks his hand up and tries to say
He's
something.
Got a nervous
we have
tick
no idea
or something.
I'm going to blame him for all these weird moments because he's distracting us. It's not fair.
I don't know. Yeah, good thing he doesn't have a mic. So this will
we took the mic away from the last time.
Yeah.
The Lost City and like all these modules are like really designed to have a lot of player characters. I was surprised. Everything is like 6 to 10 to 12 players. Or characters.
Yeah, I think that betrays a little bit the origin of D&D as a Chainmail, I believe, was the name of the war game it's based on, the first mechanics. So maybe that's just a little bit of that in place.
Yeah, it's more just like a hack and slash, make your way through the dungeons kind of thing. They're not. I mean, role play is an accessory, I think. At least I've had the opportunity to do some like old school revival gaming with a couple of guys here, and the old games are just really they're just dungeon crawlers. And you're going to die, and you have to have another character or figure out how you're going to bring that character back, which usually it's not even worth it. And the grind to level up is...
enormous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm guessing... I don't know if you remember this old video game called Gauntlet. You ever play it?
Gauntlet.
It's a top view game with you play basically. They don't even have names. They're like sorceress, archer, warrior, and that's it.
You have to go around and like kind of break the nests of the enemy so they quit spawning.
Yeah. And sometimes you found like secret spots. I mean, there's got a little bit of lore in there, but it's not that much. I think that's the game that captures a lot of the feeling of these old modules, how they seem.
Yeah. So the Lost City, if I can read a description, it says, "Lost in the desert." Desert was a very common theme back then. The only hope for survival lies in a ruined city rising out of the sands. Food, water, and wealth await heroic adventurers inside an ancient pyramid ruled by a strange race of masked beings. I mean, it sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds pretty much like old pulp adventures as well. Like, I don't know, like those magazines where they're guys that are bodies like women, like women and men, all with tattered clothes, being heroic and fighting something evil and probably a little bit racist as well.
Oh, no, come on. So it's basically like this whole adventure is set, it's 2 different parts, and then there's like a third part that opens up the campaign. The pyramid is divided into like an upper section and a lower section. The lore, if I'm not mistaken, is like the king passed away and they started like excavating to make this pyramid, to make his
tomb or
his
something.
tomb and all that. And then when they finished, they kept digging a little bit deeper. And when they dug a little bit deeper, they riled up an old ancient being.
Oh, like a Balrog from the end, from Lord of the Rings.
It's more like an aberration kind of thing. It's
Yeah,
something called Zargon. I don't know if you're familiar with the name.
Sargon. It
Not to be
reminds me-
confused with Zordon.
It also reminds me of Sardos, the Sean Connery movie. Speaking of men in skimpy clothing, you ever saw that one?
No.
Never
Describe
saw
it.
that one. Sardos. It's amazing. He declined some really big roles for that movie.
Oh, wait. Is that like where he's wearing like this red leather chaps
yes.
or something?
Yes, it's amazing.
I've seen the image.
No, though the film is amazingly weird. Yeah, it's about a group of immortals that try to use him to commit. It's an elaborate way for immortals to commit suicide via him. It's very weird.
I'd have to check that out later.
Yeah, it's a sort of weird fantasy I like. That making a campaign in that world would be very interesting, very difficult as well.
You can have your +1 leather chaps of charisma.
Oh, he has guns. He uses guns.
Oh, okay.
So it's like this fantasy setting. Well, it's kind of magic, but it's not magic. It's technology. It's very weird, very 70s.
And it's called Stardust?
Sardos, like the Wizard of Oz.
Uh-huh.
But you-
Sardos.
Sardos, the last bit of Wizard of Oz. Sardos.
No, this thing is called Zargon, and it's this weird monster with like tentacle legs and tentacle arms, and it has a big horn on its head. It kind of looks like the aliens from The Simpsons. Kind of
Yeah.
like that kind of a feeling.
Kind of like a proto-aboleth as well.
Maybe.
Kind of rings a bell of the sort of thing that aboleths are, but they're more established.
Yeah. So this thing gets loose and it starts killing everybody. And then the people, like, how would you say this? They create a cult of worship
To the being.
to the being, and they sacrifice people to appease his hunger. So it forms this really weird, like, dynamic between the people in this town, which, by the way, the town goes to waste. I think, like, barbarian tribes come by, and they get really hooked on, like, psychotropic drugs and different debauchery, and yeah, there's like a lot of interesting
Stuff
adult
that-
themes.
I wonder why a moral panic started about D&D.
So these group of people are called I hope I'm not saying this wrong, the Synodesians, the Kynodesians, something like that. It says they lived underground for generations. Their skin became paler, their hair whiter. And they're the ones using those weird masks from the description.
Oh, so they're like Morlocks from what's the name? The Time Machine.
But those are a little more savage.
Well, yeah, but they operate machines and stuff like it. I'm guessing there's no machines. It's just magic and
It's more magical, more like tribal, more
cool.
It's a lot of cool stuff in there. So then, I mean, basically, the dungeon itself is 100 rooms. The first half is the top 3 layers. You finish that, you do the bottom 3 layers. Something interesting which I liked is, like, the first half comes all described. You got monsters, you got the traps, you got everything laid out for you. Once you hit that midpoint, the book itself says, we're leaving this intentionally
Blank.
Yeah, just blank. Just like a general idea of what can be there. And then from there, you, as the DM, can put in whatever you want. And it ends with the fight with this guy, Zargon, which has its own special rules in a way, because you can't really kill him unless you destroy the horn. So there is an option there for, like, role-playing.
Did that?
Is it ringing a bell?
Yeah, I've seen the being. Yeah, of course, the horn and the horn's an artifact that you can use. Oh yeah, it was in this tome about ancient evils in third edition. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, of course.
So that's
the
is
one.
Enemy Zargon. And then what happens is once you finish that, which I'm saying this is for like levels 1 to 3, and then the second half of the game is I think a little bit higher, maybe 4, 5, 6 leveled characters. And after that, it opens up into this whole underground, which is the actual Lost City, which has like temples. There's a volcano with lava, which is useful later if you actually want to destroy the horn. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I should have said that before. Then you can take it there and destroy it there. Dude, come on. It's been 50 years. Well, I'm at 40 years.
40 years, yeah, our ages, dude.
If you haven't played it in 40 years, you can play it now
when
the new product comes
remake.
out.
Yeah, of course. They'll probably change something.
No, actually, there was an adaptation, which I thought was kind of cool for 5th edition. I also looked this up by a company called Goodman Games. And now this is already like more what we're accustomed to. It's set for 4 to 6 players, first level. And I mean, there's like, they suggest certain classes, like that there should be dwarves, clerics, stuff like that, which I thought was actually kind of cool. But I haven't seen the actual game. I don't know if you've seen that adaptation.
No, I haven't seen the adaptation. No, I just skimmed about, read a little bit about the old module.
Here, hold on. I'm looking up because I misplaced my papers. Yeah, it gives the suggestion that there should be at least 2 types of fighters: an arcane user and a cleric.
Yeah,
I guess so you can
probably
balance
a range fighter and more of a meat.
So it's more of like the newer flavor of the game. It's the same because I reviewed both modules and I looked it over. It's pretty much the same. They added a lot more flavor in the adaptation, a lot more lore, a lot more story. Like in the bottom layer, there's a vampire. For some reason, there's a vampire chick in the bottom.
Maybe so you can talk to him.
Yeah, but originally it was just like, oh, you're in the lair, it attacks you. And then this one, they have this whole backstory where the female vampire brings you in, kind of like a succubus kind of thing, kind of like entice you and
maybe you can take out some information, some lore, and then...
Or she can just kill you.
Fight. That reminds me, in some campaign, I gave an artifact, a magic item to a vampire that tricked me. Well, no, actually, I was really dumb, and the vampire tricked me into posing as a damsel in distress. And I gave her like something to fly, a flying carpet. I said, "Go away," and then eventually the DM told me when we were done, and that thing was actually a vampire that was going to attack you later on, but
you managed to win its grace, and it let you live another day.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. We were destroyed it was a really low level vampire, but yeah, I just sent them away to another town where she probably wreaked havoc.
All the people.
Yeah, good times.
Well, sucks to be them.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. I mean, if you guys can find the new 5th edition adaptation of Goodman, I mean, I'm not saying don't get the new one that's coming out, but you can check that one out too. It's got like over 200 pages of stuff in it. It's amazing. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, speaking about what you said about the grind, I mean, the original adventure, it seems it's shorter text-wise than what we're used to, but you can see how much gameplay time is implied in it because it's a ton of encounters. I mean, the maps are crazy, how big they are, and how much stuff there is in there.
It's funny because, like, all right, I'm going to try it back a little bit. The new D&D session that I've been running with the new players, I've been trying to, like, tailor each level out a little bit. The first level of the dungeon, because I'm doing it like a dungeon-based adventure, was a lot of doors, a lot of hallways, a lot of traps, and they got so upset. They were just tired of doors and hallways and everything. So the next one, it was just like open caverns, but they were still tunnels, and they had to traverse and watch out for traps and stuff. They started missing the doors, and they started missing the hallways. And then the third one is just like an open canopy top where they could fall to their death and just like change the ambiance so they learn and do a little bit different. I shared with a couple of them the information from this module. They would have suffered. They do not have the patience for this old school kind of...
Yeah, to check everything out. I mean, anything could be a mimic. I mean, a lot of it is random encounters. So
there are a lot of random encounter tables in both of them. There's rules for how to make the encounters for the lower levels, how to work exhaustion, because you don't have food and water.
Of course. I mean, unless you have like a special item or you do what any reasonable person would do, and, well, the beasts and monsters you murder, you eat.
Oh, yeah. That sounds very delicious.
In dungeon, yes.
Anyway, so that's basically the Lost City. And I know, like, the more popular thing that came out was effectively the Zargon enemy character with the relic.
Yeah, and also the idea of something lost in the bottom. I mean, it's clearly a predecessor of the Underdark. I mean, it's the concept of an Underdark.
It's like the base of what we know as Underdark. There's a couple of them that run into that kind of idea.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where it matured. So what else we got?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You read a little bit about When a Star Falls. Have you heard of that one?
I read a little bit. I mean, it all gets confused because, my memory is not what it used to be. But what I read, it reminded me a lot about the film Stardust. You ever see it?
Stardust, the angel that falls from...
Well, it's not an angel, it's a star.
Wow. Okay, sorry.
It's
a star being.
A star being. I mean, this is not a being. This is actually an item, but it's kind of this. It's kind of this race to put everything in the right place.
Yeah, there's like a tower with some sages, and they have this prophetic book, and the book kind of like runs out, and the last page tells them to find the star that falls down. So then, it's kind of fun how they bring the characters into it, because you're like just wandering through the woods,
and you find the star.
No. You find, well, I mean, there's different ways you can start it, but the way they suggest has them run into what they call a memory web, which is kind of like an astral enemy. From what I understood how it was kind of weird. So it's like this web, and there's a bunch of dead things around it, and if you destroy the web, then you can get the memories from the dead, which were like a group of monks that were sent out to get the star. So that's kind of like the hook. And then from there, I mean, you find a book. I mean, for the book, you take it to a druid that's nearby. The druid kind of tells you what's going on. He sends you off on a way. You fight some, what are these things called? Are they Durgars? No.
Durgars, yeah, the evil dwarfs.
Yeah, well, we don't say.
I mean, and in the new version, I don't know, it's a different ethnicity of a different species.
No, Dueros. Is that the same thing?
Dero and Duergar. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dero is the general species, and Duergars are like a specific, special type of Dero, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you validate Duero?
Dero. Yeah, this is a sort of hairless.
Yeah, because I've always thought they were like an underground.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Colony, whatever. So then you go through their town because the asteroid, comet, star that fell to the Earth destroyed their home. And once you get through there, then you can go up and you go to the actual tower. But it's like there's un complot. There's a treacher. What?
Dero.
Yeah, but what are the Deros?
Oh, they're like evil gnomes, not dwarfs.
Humanoid?
We're asking the producer to check for us in case you don't hear anything. We just want to double check because I haven't used Dueros.
Description. Dero appear to resemble small dwarfs.
Yeah, they're like small dwarves.
Oh, they're dwarfs.
They have blue-gray skin and they have...
So are they like the predecessor of Duergars? Because I could have sworn Duergars were like the Underdark dwarves.
Yeah, probably they're both like...
Maybe. They're cousins?
Different concepts. I thought the Duergar were like a special version of Dero.
Let us know in the comments how dumb we are and what exactly we should be saying. Because I think they're one and the same, but maybe they're not. And you know what? You can play
maybe they're different camping settings, and we're just mixing everything up.
Maybe. But then it's kind of cool because then when you get to the tower, then you can, after a couple of things. Oh, hold on. What?
There were other conflict legends of how the Dero came to be. The Dergar believed that the Dero were another dwarf clan that was known held by mind flayers.
Oh, okay. So there's mind flayers. It's Underdark.
They're kind of like the Githyanki and the Githzerai, yeah. That they're different species from a similar origin.
They're cousins from a different mother.
Yeah,
brother.
maybe.
Brother?
Also, mind flayers in action as well. That's interesting.
Illithids? Mind flayers? What can we, I don't know. Anyway, so
you got copyright, yeah. Mind flayers are, or C, yeah. I don't know. Wink, wink. Probably censored.
You get to the tower, you talk to the sage. The sage is like, hey. Oh, because the star, you can find it in the Duero's house. So he's like, all right, cool. You got the star. I need another favor. Can you take that over to these gnomes? I'm not going to be able to say.
Snibblefrim, yeah.
Snibblefrim.
Yeah.
Those weird little gnomes, so Underdark. And then they're going to use the gem somehow to make the new books of prophecy. So then when you go there and you give them the gem, then they kind of like say, okay, we're going to make it. And they leave. But when they leave, something goes wrong in their workshop. Chaos ensues. And you just like bother this nest of a couple of sleeping dragons that are on top. And then the final fight, kind of in this way of they presenting the module, has you fighting a couple of red dragons. And when you finish that, then you manage to get the books. You go back to the sage, and he gives you magic items. Ta-da! That was
That's it. But why not keep them?
Why not keep what?
The books for yourself.
What? I don't know if the characters. First of all, you don't have the. Well, I mean, you'd have to have the books made and take them back. But I think there's like some back lore there that only these certain sages can go through and read them. Because there's only one guy that can use them, and even then, the book is like opening one page at a time, so he can't really read the whole thing. It has to go.
Yeah, so you cannot use it like Biff's sports almanac.
You go Back to the Future.
Yeah, to win all the bets at the jousting tournaments, to win all of them.
Yeah. So I mean, these are like the two lower level of the modules that will be coming out in the Infinite Staircase, and then when we come back in the next episode, we're going to go over a couple more. Shall I tell you what they are? Yeah. It's Beyond the Crystal Cave and Pharaoh.
Awesome. Pharaoh is it's very different from this from this one, right?
No, Beyond the Crystal Cave is very. Actually, they all have their own little.
The twist, yeah. No, but I'm messing with you because Pharaoh is about a pyramid in the desert that you excavate.
You have to get an ancient relic artifact.
Of course.
I mean, there's no Zargon.
No, there's a Pharaoh.
I keep wanting to do that.
Oh, yeah, of course, Soltar.
Anyway. So, yeah, I guess that will be today's episode. As always, leave a like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends.
And as
share
usual,
it with people you don't like.
Yeah, please.
You can now follow us on Instagram. We are at MAB Barbarians. We're on Twitter as well.
Oh, it's called X now, supposedly.
Well, you can see how outdated I am by calling it Twitter.
I don't know. That's everybody calls it Twitter still because I mean.
Oh, and we are also now we have access to a Discord server with ND Hobbies. All this is in the description of the video. You can feel free to join us there and chit chat. We'll probably be throwing up some polls, questions, and stuff later on, and we'll love to hear from you. So as always, can you hit us off with a catchphrase?
Yeah, rate responsibly, my friends.
Rate responsibly. We'll see y'all next episode.